O.J. Simpson, the decorated football star who was also famously acquitted of killing his former wife, has died. His family says he died of cancer. Our legal analyst, Mark Crumbine, is now in studio, who knew one of O.J.'s attorneys. So thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Tricia.
Who did you know and how?
I knew F. Lee Bailey. I had known him for years before and after the O.J. Simpson case. He's passed away now. And I talked to him before the O.J. case, a couple, 3 years before. He told me he wasn't doing criminal work anymore. Of course, he had the most famous case, one of the most famous cases ever, the one they based the movie The Fugitive on in the TV series.
Yeah.
So he said he was out of the criminal defense work. He was out of it. Next thing I know, he's doing the O.J. case.
All right, so let's talk about this. In case you don't remember the O.J. Simpson case, maybe you're too young, or maybe it's just it isn't like fresh in your mind. So he was accused of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, right there like in the doorsteps, and then also her boyfriend at the time, Ron Goldman. Let's talk about the evidence against him. A lot of people, including Nicole Brown, who told her sister allegedly that if I'm ever killed, it was O.J. and he's going to get off because he's this big football star. You're a criminal defense attorney. Was he guilty, Mark Crumbine?
You know, I've been asked this many times, and I can just go by the evidence. And, you know, he was the most likely candidate probably, but...
You're not answering my question. Mark Crumbine, was he guilty?
I don't know for sure. I really don't.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't know for sure.
Seriously?
I don't
All right,
know.
so what did F. Lee Bailey say about it?
Well, I talked to him after the trial, and I congratulated him. And he told me, he said, why are you congratulating me? Anybody could have won that case. To him, it was so obvious that I think that O.J. Simpson at least was not guilty, or that there wasn't enough evidence to prove it. He thought it was an easy case.
Which I find crazy that there wasn't enough evidence. You had his ex-wife with her head nearly chopped off. Outside, there was a bloody knife found near his home. There were the gloves right there, even though right here was the very famous, you know, if they don't fit, you must acquit. It was actually when I was covering the O.J. Simpson case, I was there for this. And there were a lot of people questioned his acting skills that went in his struggle to put him on. Would you have done that?
Well, in retrospect, it was a great idea. It was a great idea because it really looked like they didn't fit.
They did.
And, you know, we heard a lot of things like, well, maybe they shrunk over time, or maybe he was acting, and he was an actor. He'd been in several movies and TV shows by then. So if he was a better actor than people thought of, if he was pretending.
Yeah, perhaps. What about, there was a lot of the prosecution. Really, remember, it was like in the high weeds, man. There was so much minutia with the blood and the spattering and all that kind of stuff. And that, a lot of people called that into question, whether or not everybody just kind of got lost because it went on for so long. Yeah,
that's a problem a lot of times. A lot of like little tiny facts are brought in, and they really don't help very much. And I didn't think the prosecutors did a very good job. There was a lot of anger in the courtroom from them, especially Marcia Clark.
Yeah.
And Darden, the other prosecutor, he was like really laid back, sitting on the table while he's addressing the jury. I didn't think he had the composure that you should have to do like a double brutal homicide case. I don't think they did a good job.
Well, it was
I
one
think
of
that
his
was part
first.
of it.
It was one of his first. He was like over his head. I could talk to you about for hours and hours, but we're out of time on this. Mark, did he do it?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you won't say it.
I don't like to.
Frank, did he do it? Frank's like, Megan.
Oh, okay.
From the alert desk, what do you think?
What about you?
Yeah.
Ashley, what do you think? I know, I mean.
Well.
I don't tell you, big man.
There you go. There's a lot of reasonable doubt
I know,
right in this
there's a lot of
room.
reasonable doubt.
Right in this room. So I think that's all we have to know, really.
Thanks for coming in, man.